Hello everyone, I'm here to show you the DS, the original Nintendo DS. So here it is. It's big and ugly. Ugh. But when this first came out, I was glad to have it because the games on it, some of the games are actually really good. And here's the thing. Any new system that comes out, they always try to come out with traditional type games, and the DS was not a traditional system. Sure, you had the regular D-pad buttons, shoulder buttons, but this has two screens. This screen here is a touch screen. And sure, there were systems in the past that had touchscreen, like the Game.com from Tiger. Zodiac Tapwave was a game system that was based off, it's like a gaming version of a PDA. You know, the screen is all touchscreen. But Nintendo was the first one to make it popular. So, you know how like the iPhone now is really popular, you know. Obviously the iPhone is just a touchscreen, and you know, touchscreen based games are really popular now, and you can thank Nintendo for making it popular. So, obviously, this is the bottom, and you can see you got the power button, the D-pad, the start, select, A, B, X, Y. This is your touchscreen, and on the top here, you got another screen, and you got stereo speakers. When they originally revealed the system, the prototype version was just going to have one speaker. So it was originally going to be a mono speaker, a mono sounding system. And when I first heard about this, like, you know, that's kind of lame. You know, this came out in 2004, and you're just now going to release a new system in mono sound. I know they were trying to do that to try to cut costs, but this is one of these things where competition is good. When they revealed this system, Sony also revealed the PSP, and the PSP not only looked better than this, but had a much larger screen, higher resolution screen, but most of all, it had stereo speakers. So the one thing they did change was added stereo speakers, and that's good. Now, obviously, let's take a look at this. Now, it looks fine on the camera, but here's the thing. The light on here is a front lit, it's not a backlit. So that means when you're actually playing these games on the system, it actually looks more washed out. Now, my problem is, this came out after the Game Boy Advance SP Lite, or the bright version, and the Game Boy Advance Micro. And those systems were backlit. Sure, the SP, the first version, was front lit like this, but the second version of the SP was backlit. Nintendo has a tendency to revert back to particular stuff, and this is one of these things where they revert back to front lit screens, and that just makes it look old, antique, and the colors just don't pop out as much. And another thing is, unlike the DS Lite, this has no control on the brightness level. It's just one brightness level, and you can see that. Now if you compare that with the DSi, try to put them next to each other. And obviously you can tell the DSi is a much slimmer system. Well, let's take a look at the brightness. Look how much brighter it is. And I think you can hold down select, and that is the lowest brightness level. And this is a little brighter, but if you go up just one, it's brighter. Go there, well, that just kills it. Go like that, becomes a flashlight, and wow, that's really bright. So you can tell there's a big difference in brightness levels. Now, back to the DS. One thing they did take out of the DSi is the Game Boy Advance slot. And the DS and the DS Lite has the Game Boy Advance slot. So just to give you an idea of how a game will look, here is a Game Boy Advance game. But that just gives you an idea. Other things they did was add a microphone. And they didn't add a built-in microphone in the PSP until the PSP 3000. So Sony went 2 versions without a built-in microphone. And DS has a microphone from the start. So a lot of the things on the DS is pretty much the same on the DS Lite, and it carries over to the DSi. Now, let's take a look at the front here. This is your volume toggle. So it's just a slider for your volume. This is your headphone jack, and the thing next to it is for the headset. Now you can actually buy a headset for the DS, even though no one really uses it, but it's there. There's supposed to be a sticker here, but that peeled off. Alright, on the back here, you got your right trigger, left trigger, your power plug, your DS card slot, and this is where the stylus is stored. So that's pretty much it with the DS. Now, if I'm going to compare this with the PSP, here's the thing. In terms of which gaming system is a better gaming system, I think the DS is. Which system has a better multimedia device? The PSP just kills it, because this is strictly a gaming system. Even though the DS Lite, you know, they start adding camera, you know, you can listen to music and all that, but if you want a device to play games and watch movies, videos, listen to music, basically an all-in-one device, get the PSP. So the DS is a really good system. Obviously, you know, I upgraded 3 times, and just to make sure that there's no Sony haters out there, I did upgrade the PSP 3 times also. So, you know, I had the first version, then I got this 2000, and now I have the 3000. Same thing with the DS. I had this, then the DS Lite, traded that, and got the DSi. So, I like both systems personally. I do use the DS more for gaming, and I use the PSP more for multimedia. But I do have a lot of downloadable games on the PSP. Same thing with the DSi. So I may make that a different, you know, video. So have a good one.